I think the casters are just waiting for confirmation to begin. But as you can see here, you can see the Elegic cast out with the Demeter searched out as well.
Looks like we're just waiting on full-on confirmation, but let's talk about Titan and what they're going to do in this matchup. We already saw the ramp up. We saw the Arbud. We saw Argo taking that Argo and going to top 8, as it were.
Yeah.
Now we have 2 set with an Elechick on field. I mean, do you even worry about protecting this Elechick once you got the Divine Search?
Clearly just not respecting the Hurricane, or just maybe even trying to bait it out early. See what Sixx is on. We see, Fleur Mine into... What is that?
Vinef? No, that's Snowlit!
Lycan,
Gorgons. Man, BlueStacks!
Oh, truly crazy here. So I'm curious to see how Titan faces up against that. Notably, BlueStacks doesn't typically run Insectoids for Titan to take advantage of.
Notably, Stellar Snowlit being the cast out there. That's what threw me off. Like, wait, I don't know that one just because I don't have that one.
Yeah, no hits, though. Let's see what Sixx ends up doing here. Just passing her. Looked like may have tried to poke into the Elechick, potentially. Not quite sure if that was a full attack declaration, but we'll see in a moment here.
Losing a Tsunami this early. But I mean, there's no such thing as good mills unless you're milling a Sproul or BlueStacks specifically. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck here. An attack has been declared, and Argo is going to be activated, and he just moves the Stellar Snowlit straight to the underworld. Utilizing an Earth and Lunar to activate Argo and triggering a Scyther Demeter, which is going to give a heal of the Earth he just cast out. Really good play for BeanSoldier going into his second turn.
Really showing how great Scythe is off of an Argo, because not only is it both offensive and defensive, can be offensive and defensive in nature, but also because of that heal, makes that Argo play just a little less expensive. So next up, we got the Arbud, a phenomenal follow-up. BeanSoldier setting up his game plan very, very well into this match.
Yeah, Arbud allowing them to search their deck for any Elestral they may, or any Insectoid Elestral they may need. It could be a Nobby, it could be a Spectrus, it could be a Viserys, as the choice is right here. Looking to really widen their board going into the next turn and letting them know, I have a very potent 5 waiting for you, so be careful of your next move. Meanwhile, you still have to deal with the now 6/4 Elechick that can heal up on Battle Destruction, and you're dealing 2 points of damage. 6 is already on the back foot.
The other thing here is, if I've learned anything from the times I faced BlueStacks, you just want to... You're not trying to play any fancy games here. You're just trying to put on as much pressure as soon as possible, because another win condition against BlueStacks is just to get them at too low of spirits for them to really be able to do anything. So I imagine BeanSoldier just really looking to just start pushing in. Being the Viserys is a great add on top of that, because it does help get more spirits on board to push more damage.
So at this point, you just got to figure like what's the best play. And you're still having a high spirit count. And Morlith is a great way to start. If Morlith plays off and you mill a Cedar Sword too, this is a great way to start. Shield, Lycan form, can't tell that one. Bat form, and can't tell that one. I think that was an Esprowl.
It was an Asprowl. Is that one? That looks to be...
I think that's an Asprowl as well. So 2 Asprowls were already milled along with a Shield and others. Like, what a rough mill for Sixx right there. But I mean, this is the nature of BlueStacks. If it works, it's the best deck. And if it doesn't work, you're like, why am I playing this deck?
But still, 2 Asprowl can be converted. Notably, so far, no BlueStacks, so a Rise from the Ashes into Asprowl play could be quite devastating. And ooh, looks like we might be seeing that here right now.
There it is, Rise from the Ashes. Love that. That's like the secret tech for any Blizzless. I've yet to have Rise when I whiffed with the BlueStacks, but whatever. I can't do that. I have the worst luck, that's why I can't play this deck. But it's always fun to see when it happens. And it's Sproul now going to expend a Frost. Let's see if a Gorgon's Gauge stops this or not. Not a single Blizz has been milled. Morlith, Astrabit, Cedasaur, and BlueStacks! Insane combo right there. Ooh. So now let's see if the Gorgon's Gaze can stop the ascension onto the Sproul. It does not exist. BlueStacks is down, and this is exactly why BlueStacks can be considered the best deck in format. This field just went from 0 to 3 huge Elestrals on board.
Absolutely crazy, and notably plenty of Elestrals milled, meaning BlueStacks' effect is live to start popping back row or Elestrals, whatever Sixx deems most appropriate here, and then recycling those Asprows to hopefully be able to ramp up to more later if need be. Though the spirit count's a bit low, but follow-up is still follow-up nonetheless.
I mean, spirit count's a low, but who really cares that much? I guess BeanSoldier cares, because he has enough to play out a Tsunami and protect his field for a turn. I'm assuming that was the target of the BlueStacks, meaning that the attack was, the destruction was completely nullified, because that was going to be activated regardless. Now, the other face down is potentially around for them to go, wait a minute.
So notably, BlueStacks does not target, so something still gets destroyed here.
I see. Okay, so you have to do that preemptively. Exactly. So yeah, it makes sense to get rid of the Scythe of the Meter there. Still an okay board. And Titan, if you can get it out. Like, this is the perfect... No. Is it possible to get out and Titan right now?
Unlikely.
Advarum requires the destruction of an Insectoid. It is none on field.
The potential line for BeanSoldier to get out and Titan is to play out an Insectoid Elestral, and if Alter is face down, can get a second Spirit on that Viscerus to bridge up into Titan.
Let's see how it goes. We have some room being played. I can't quite make out
Demeter.
what it is.
It's Demeter.
Is that the meter? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And BlueStacks' defense is a 6. So if you buff it up, that gets over the BlueStacks, gets out the Titan of the second Vicerus as well.
That's very potent here, especially when Sixx has absolutely no back row. Probably wishing that Gorgon's Gaze or Tsunami had ended up in hand. That would have been real clutch here.
Vicerus attack is going to be declared, and BlueStacks is going to go down. And with Sixx having 6 spirits left, not exactly a situation you want to be in with a Vicerus being cast from field. Elechick not able to get over anything else, so Morlith will be able to threaten the Elechick, and Seedestroy threatens the Advarum. Or either of them can threaten the defense position Vicerus. But this is still an okay position to be in.
I don't think it's clear which one has the advantage here or not, because that board is still scary from Sixx, but BeanSoldier has plenty of fight left in him with that 14 spirit count.
Yeah, you got to keep two bugs on board, or 2 insectoids on board. So at this case, Sixx, if they realize the situation, they need to target both of the Aardvarm and the defense Vicerus, so that way, they can't easily go into Titan. If Titan comes out right now, I think that might be the end.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. Like, you're running out of spirits. Having the answer to BlueStacks is huge in this matchup. But we'll see. Like, Sixx definitely isn't out either. They've got plenty of spirits to work with to make something happen. It's just they need to get a board that BeanSoldier cannot beat established right here, or BeanSoldier can probably crawl his way back into it. But looks like an Ascend from hand off of the Cedar Soar. Is it going to be another BlueStacks?
If it is, that's probably the best case scenario for Sixx right now.
Yeah, plenty of Elestral still in Underworld.
I think that's a Leviathan?
Into an Asprowl. Okay, so still has to gamble a little here.
So trying to dig into the BlueStacks, absolutely respectable. Let's see how this one goes. We have the Expend there, and we have a mill of... I think that's the BlueStacks. The second one is BlueStacks. Cedar Sword and Shield as well.
Ooh, dang. Back to a full board.
Huge
just like that.
mill. What a gamble that paid off. BeanSoldier has to be feeling some sort of way right now, getting another Elestral they just got rid of back to the field. Now, mind you, this is going to be the majority of the remaining spirits, but this is still another huge board that Bean has to find a way to overcome. And with all these Elestrals on board right now, all of the Insectoids BeanSoldier has can get run over.
And notably, that BlueStacks does have a Water Spirit, so a Tsunami cannot stop this, meaning 2 things will be popped. I mean, you can always just pop the back row and just swing with anything anyway, but the Tsunami not going to be a response here. So we'll see what BeanSoldier has. Does it just let it go? Ooh, and a shield. That hurts.
That's absolutely rough. There is nothing stopping it. BlueStacks destroyed Scythe of the Meter last turn, destroys a shield this turn, and now there's nothing left to do but provide the onslaught. You can deal damage. You can destroy all of the Insectoids. The world is your oyster with 1 spirit left in your spirit deck. That's not a huge buffer, but it could be enough to get you this game, Sixx.
That's really what Sixx is betting on. Ambrosia would also be crazy here, and probably happy that, his BeanSoldier safely isn't on something like Zephrog to just snipe the game.
That would be great. I'm just saying.
Oh, it would be.
But yeah, but Ardvarum going down as well, more damage being dealt. We have the attack position Viceroy being taken out. We have one more attack to be declared. Will it be into the Elechick or the extra Viceroy? I would choose the Viceroy. Get rid of all the Insectoids, and that's exactly what it's going to be. A complete, almost field wipe. The first Elechick is the last Elestral standing as BeanSoldier goes into his next turn with 7 spirits left.
How do you out just this crazy board here? You can't even Laurels the BlizzTrick with the Morlith and the Cedarsaur. Eddie's an interesting, at least, counter potentially to the BlizzTricks.
Eddie and Demeter does get over the BlizzTricks,
but doesn't really address the rest of the board. That Morlith is still looking quite scary, though.
Cedarsaur will not be able to deal damage without destroying itself, though. So, I mean, it's not the worst scenario to be in. We do have the destruction of BlizzTricks, so that's likely the last one we're going to see there. BlizzTricks, Elechick going into the Cedarsaur, getting the force out himself, and I think that's very good, knowing that there's one spirit left in Spirit deck. He took out, BeanSoldier took out the resource himself, so now Sixx has to ascend over the Morlith if they want to do anything cheeky in and of itself. Meanwhile, you just have an Eddie staring back at you.
Hey, establishing another BlizzTricks on board could be absolutely crazy if Sixx has it in hand, but even from here, it's a crazy situation to be in because this Morlith is still threatening, but is that, a Narpoon. So just choosing to establish 2 bodies on board, hoping that 6 attack from Morlith that BeanSoldier just cannot get over, and notably does not have any back row at current.
Once again, utilizing those Clash Kickstarter artworks, be looking beautiful, dealing 2 points of damage here, bringing BeanSoldier down to 5. Sixx has 0 spirits left in Spirit deck, so any sort of forced expenditure will end this game for Sixx and give BeanSoldier the first win. Let's find out how they choose to adjust as we go into BeanSoldier's next turn.
Oh, that hurts, because I believe BeanSoldier was actually down to 4 spirits. I believe the count has not been updated. Oh, it's down to 2 spirits. There's 2 additional ones missing. But an Ambrosia just to kind of keep on living, but that can easily be answered by exactly Narpoon and Morlith on board. So yeah, there's the scoop there.
Wow.
Sixx takes the first round here in an absolutely crazy showing by BlizzTricks. Yup, so let's see. Notably, BeanSoldier did not take a mulligan, and I don't think Sixx is either, by the looks of it.
Huh. I could have sworn we saw that, but I guess there was just an initial shuffle. Instant Equilinks? Yeah. So is that the only Elestral in Bean's hand?
I don't know. Again, 2 back row, not respecting the Hurricane.
I don't think you're going to worry about Hurricane from BlizzTricks.
I mean, they've got the element stuff to potentially play it, but a Lycan. So we're seeing the Morfrost variant of BlizzTricks just to help thin the deck and give the deck an answer to something on board.
Yeah, Scorpio form and Bat form really are just potent threats you always have to be aware of, because while expensive, it is a guaranteed out and board widening for BlizzTricks decks. Like you can then ascend from a Lycan form, etc., etc. I actually prefer the Morfrost deck more than anything else. Thank you, Morfrost Cryovert.
Ooh, notably only adding Bat, meaning that Scorpion form was in hand. That hurts a little bit. Usually you want to get the 2 add off, but I mean, any cards off the deck will help this deck hit more on its mills.
Let's see what the first cast is here now. Will it be a Snowlet? Will it be a Narpoon? It's a Morlith. That's interesting to see right now. I think is that Frostix has a shield as well. Pretty significant mills, but nothing that's going to help them right now.
Unless there's a Rise in hand, just rise back the BlizzTricks and immediately start putting on pressure. There's should be plenty of Elestrals in Underworld.
If there is a Rise in hand right now, this might just spell the fall of BeanSoldier in this tournament run.
Just running straight Morlith into an Argo.
Oh man, that other back goes a threat now, because you know we're going to see the not going for the meter here, so we know that we're not going to see Sight of the meter, which makes sense. Necklace or Harmonia is going to be the call. Destroying the Morlith and giving 2 Earth Spirits the Nexus on to the Equilinks before you commit to anything else.
You better hope that back row isn't a bluff that you were hoping to keep, or is something that can answer this Equilinks. Though, honestly, against BlizzTricks, I don't think Equilinks is as scary just because you don't run as much back row.
I mean, yeah, but this is still your one back row you just set. So having that be destroyed instead of milled is a bit rough. And then you go right there with the mill 3, and that is a shield it will never resolve.
Yeah, I think the only scary part about Equalings into this matchup is that you probably can't get, unless you get rid of the Equalings, you can't have back row insulating your big board. But also, I don't think that's really how too much of what the BlueStacks player is aiming for. Just get BlueStacks out, run over the opponent, go from there. But looks like no cast, so I think it was an expend to draw from BeanSoldier.
It wasn't a spin to draw and an attack for 3. So 3 points of damage in his turn. Back row destruction of a shield is all potent. So not a terrible spot for BeanSoldier to be in. You have to imagine those back row are very live, but what exactly they're going to do remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think you made the right call that Equalings was the only Elestral in BeanSoldier's hand with that expend to draw. Must have just been too good of a hand to try to start pressuring the board to mulligan out, especially if, you know, if 6 hits BlueStacks, it is what it is.
I think we're at a point, like I've been saying that this might be a big body meta. I also think this might be the time for Pandora's Box to come out.
Yes, though notably Pandora's Box doesn't do too much into specifically this matchup, but a lot of the other matchups we've been seeing today with those big bodies, definitely a card that casters might want to start considering.
Well, no, Pandora's Box does a negation of any card that would cast or search from deck. I believe from search as well. But yeah, like it's a really potent card I think can really be activated in this sort of gameplay right now. When your opponent activates an effect that searches for or casts a card from the deck. Yeah, so that stops a Lycan Void, that stops Argo, that stops Viserys. Like there are so many cards.
I was thinking specifically against BlueStacks, it doesn't do too much, but against everything else that's going on.
Yeah, not versus BlueStacks, but like this meta right now, I think casters should be considered Pandora's Box.
But getting back to the game here, we see the Scorpio form coming down to deal with the Equalings, bring out a Lycan form thanks to the bat that got pitched. Equalings finally dealt with, but into it looks like a Viserys.
Yeah, that's a Viserys, the Artist Collection version. That's going to threaten I guess either one that should. I would choose the Lycan form specifically just because bigger defense, but still, it's going to threaten the field right there and be able to get a second Vice out. Interesting that. Actually, no, that was an effect destruction, so it cost a lot for 6, and they're already under a count where. They're already under a spirit count where a big board being built up is not exactly likely because it's going to be very expensive to get there.
Yeah, there's definitely going to not be much follow-up unless there's just an insane amount of Ambrosias coming out of 6. It looks like might be try to build up to a BlueStacks and hope that can win him the game. And
you typically don't see Ambrosias out of BlueStacks. They'll run Cataran, if anything. So yeah, not exactly ideal for them. Yeah. 6 seems to be making a cast here. Here we go.
Snowlet.
The Stellar Snowlet. How many Stellar Snowlets do they have?
Watch them just have one, and we just keep seeing that one. Looks like Tsunami Asprow, notably right there.
Yeah, so that's not bad. Do we have a Gorgon's Gaze to stop the Ascension? We do not. The play is okay, and now here we go. The ramping is real. Both Viceroys are already threatened unless we have a Scythe of the Meter set.
And here, Asprow can start digging for a BlueStacks, but there's at least one BlueStacks in Underworld. There might have been a second one that got missed because I think the feed on our end froze for a second on the final mill from the Morlith, so I wasn't quite sure. But still, odds are going for it regardless of what the odds are.
Morlith, Narpoon, Rise, and Gorgon's Gaze. Huge whiff there.
But Asprow still pressures this board here, just not as secured as a BlueStacks would, especially into an Argo potentially. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would assume that Argo is live right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Tsunami. That nets the same result.
Yes. And notably, an Argo had already been used while Tsunami had not, so that was more probable to be the case. But still, now those Viserys can attack over that Asprow.
Man, in Firestorm format, this is threatening the third Viserys.
True. Crazy.
Cannot wait. Immune to counter wounds. We're going to be on something crazy here. But right now, the Viserys are going to clear out the 2 Elestrals on board, and Spectaris is going to hit for 1. Complete board control by BeanSoldier at 6 is going down under 6 spirits as we go into their next turn and possibly their last.
And notably here, under that 6 spirit threshold means Rise into BlizzTrix is not a play that is online without the assistance of an Ambrosia or a Catar, or not even a Catarant gets you there. It has to specifically be Ambrosia.
And looks like we have a cast out right here, Fleur Mine into...
Might just have to
deliberate
gamble
on this one.
Yeah, might just have to gamble Snowlet into Aspral into BlizzTrix.
Cryoling into Cryoverm go real hard right now.
True. I've definitely seen that build of BlizzTrix before.
I'm not sure if that was sarcasm or not.
No, I'm genuinely serious. I've seen that build of BlizzTrix before where you also just run Cryoling Cryofern as a backup attacker to close out the game.
I think it's great. I think it's great. That
Catarant.
is...
The Catarant.
Oh, the Clash starter at Catarant. See, I told you BlizzTrix played Catarant. But yeah, so there's a heal too. But I mean, what is that really doing for you besides buying you a turn?
And even then, that turn, like, yeah, you don't die, but it's not getting you enough spirits to be able to then try to bridge back up into a BlizzTrix. But, ooh, a Cryoblast, though.
Okay. So putting the Vice Riz back down to a 5, that's effective.
What else can be done here? I mean, maybe a Morlith play again. There's enough spirits for a Morlith to come down and possibly scrape you back in the game, or at least give you a chance. Another expend to draw by BeanSoldier, but not
This
too
is
bad.
valuable, though.
Yeah, just building extra resources to close it out. You already know 6 at such low spirits. You just need to make sure you can close it out.
So 9-3 at this moment. More or less, we already saw, I believe, 2 being milled, but 1 in hand would be enough.
We'll have to see. 6 checking that underworld. Don't know what really needs to be checked, or maybe just some counts of cards to see what the probability, because nobody can still go Snowlet, Aspral into BlizzTrix. And that was not stellar. Let's see. That's an Aspral.
All right, so that's a 7 on board. Wow. The combo actually coming through. Aspral going to hit the field. Do you mill? I mean, you could try to get the BlizzTrix up.
Actually, there's one few spirit. I forgot Aspral does have to expend to be able to do that effect. An extra spirit would need to be had here.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, little hiccup on my part. But if you can get this Aspral... Yeah, Ambrosia. Or if you can get this Aspral to stick for a turn and have BlizzTrix in hand, that's another way to get up there.
Well, the second Viceroy is going to the Underworld. Spirit count is 9-1, I believe. And Eddie is going to come out, and that pretty much seals the deal there.
That does it. And I think 6 scoops up. We're going to a game 3. They're already exciting start to top cuts of our top 8 match, BeanSoldier versus Sixx, with 6 on the play. Let's see if Sixx's gambling with BlizzTrix can pay off this round.
We do have one already set, so you have to wonder if that's that shield, maybe a tsunami or something like that. Otherwise, Sixx is just trying to deliberately what they want to do. But the fact that they're even thinking means that they don't have a Darkmoon, they don't have a Snowlet, and you know you're trying to consider what's going to be. Oh wait, we do have a cast. Never mind, they do have a Snowlet. There's a lot of thinking for a Snowlet.
Let's see, Stadium? I can't, unfortunately, those are off screen. I think it was a Morlith and a Narpoon. So no.
That's definitely a Narpoon up top, for sure.
Yeah, I think the other one's a Morlith. But just setting one in passing, is that a bluff or is that actually a live back row?
Elechick being cast up by BeanSoldier for the first time again, searching out that Demeter, no negation of that. And I'm assuming we're going to see Elechick crash into the Snowlet instead of allowing it to re-enchant for another 3-mil.
Yeah, are you just going to see a repeat again of game 1? The Elechick facing down the Snowlet. Snowlet whiffs, but then Sixx just had the nuts to be able to get out to that BlizzTrix. We'll see what ends up happening here.
Will we see the Demeter cast out as well? We could see Demeter Demeter's going to cast out to help the Elechick get over the Snowlet. So the question that Sixx has to ask himself is the back row locked? And if that's a Shield of Achilles, then Snowlet gets another chance to mill again.
Yeah, or even just be able to go Morlith to get even more mills and try to hit with that Snowlet, but just having that, oh, never mind. Easy answer. Nope, it is going away. And we'll see.
The face down is not real, or the value wasn't seen for the Elechick. But with a deck like BeanSoldier, it's tough because you have to ask yourself, like, what do I even want to use my back row on? Because everything is so much of a 1-1 trade, as we see Cryoblast trading out with the Elechick. Obviously natively played in a deck like BlizzTrix, but still very strong and potent on the same.
Yeah, are we going to see a Morlith follow-up now? That's usually
we are.
Too. Morlith
casting out.
I'm calling right now that set is Rise from the Ashes again, but Gorgon's Gaze not playing any games here, probably making that same read saying, I don't want to see an Astral or BlizzTrix milled from that top 5 for you to just Rise. Let's not play that game.
Gorgon's no gaze for this play right now, or no gains, as the Morlith is completely stopped in its tracks from the effect and everything else. The Underworld being searched by Sixx right now, but really just trying to figure out how to get out of there. And now we're at a point of like, what do I do? BeanSoldier does have the meter on field, and BeanSoldier also has belief that the back row is not real from Sixx regarding if it's a shield or anything else. But maybe it was more so that Snowlet just wasn't valued as much as it was the pure body of a Morlith. But we have Nobby coming out there, lowering Morlith to a 4 attacker.
And with that Demeter, Nobby can run over and really start putting pressure again. Just putting a ton of spirit pressure on a BlizzTrix player always feels good. Just giving that too low of spirits for them, for all their multitude of ways to get to BlizzTrix to be live.
Right now, they're trying to figure out their best approach as the attack is declared after the buff up, and it is going to go off. Doppelganger is going to be cast, meaning that it now clashes with the incoming Espral and completely snuffs out the Cedar Sword in attack. So huge opportunity for BeanSoldier to just control his entire board state and getting in for a direct 2 more damage.
There's no way that back row is live after seeing both those turns. Like that. Okay, Elechick into Snowlet, whatever. Morlith Rise, sure, that's a line. But not letting that Morlith go and allowing for a Doppelganger to hit off, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, that face down is fake. Absolutely is fake. Fake down.
Fake down. That's the Volt Clips just saying, I'm not real. What are you talking about?
Oh, look at me. I'm not here at all.
We'll see. What does Sixx have? Because Sixx really needs a way to start milling. Again, my guess is that is Rise from the Ashes, so Sixx really needs a way just to get something in Underworld that can bridge up into bigger stuff. I mean,
that is my guess as well.
You don't really want to Rise the Morlith just to get the mills, because then you don't have Rise to bring back a big guy you mill. So what do you do here?
Oh, there's the Rise. Going to bring back the Morlith to get the mills.
I actually think it might be the Snowlet is the play and just really gamble here. Hope that top 3 contains that Astral to get up.
I mean, if this is your only play, then it's really rough.
Oh, no.
Yep, it's going to be the Morlith. Wow. Huge expensive play.
If that Morlith is properly enchanted, which it is only at 4 attack because of the Doppelganger's effect. So really looking to do something with those mills to get back into it. Maybe there's a second Rise from the Ashes.
That's what I'm thinking, but that's also going to be an extremely expensive play.
Desperate times with the BlizzTrix player. Just have to get something set up to try to win it.
Man, I would never want to be in a state of desperation like that.
No, that's why I could never bring a deck like this. So more power to Sixx being willing to gamble. And clearly it's paid off. Like, even if Sixx can't snag this game here, top 8 is still a fantastic accomplishment.
Let's see what the mills are going to be, or I think we're considering letting the mills go. BeanSoldier really deliberating off of this one. Now we have Shield, Tsunami, I think Mountains of Boreas or Avalanche?
Mountains of Boreas.
And there's a BlizzTrix.
Oh, it might actually be. Actually, that's a good call. I call Mountains of Boreas. I think it is an Avalanche. But let's see. Do we see another Rise just to bring back that BlizzTrix? I think there's 2 in that mill.
BlizzTrix is available in the Underworld. Oh, that's a special ascension.
Oh. So
BlizzTrix in hand!
I see now. That's another way to do it. And now you just get to shovel stuff back, pop. But facing 2 back rows is kind of scary. If either one of those is shield, you're not feeling too great.
Yeah, BlizzTrix is down to a 10 right now, thanks to not being... Oh, wait. It's Solar Enchanted. So, yeah, it is a 10 right now. The Doppelganger can't really threaten it directly, but it is threatening it passively. So let's see how this one plays out, whether or not the meter is targeted, even if it's allowed to be played out like that.
Yeah, and the question is, if you use BlizzTrix effect, what do you pop here? Do you just get rid of the Doppelganger and try to make sure that the Doppelganger is off the board, or do you just go for back row trying to clear it, or even get rid of the Demeter so you can't do Demeter Eddy to remove it next turn?
I would definitely say the Doppelganger. I understand the Eddy might be there, but doesn't matter. Gorgon's Gaze exists.
That is Mountains of Boreas. Huh. Cool.
It is Mountains of Boreas? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool to see that. I haven't seen that in Blizz.
I wonder what the thought is there for that. All the same though, Gorgeous Gaze is going to stop the onslaught of Blistrix, and a boom bat is going to come down and completely threaten the Blistrix. The face down has to be real, right? Gorgon's Gaze. Gorgon's Gaze on the disenchant to stop the boom bat from destroying the Blistrix. Absolutely real backload that time. Blizz 6 now going down to 6 spirits, but BeanSoldier is not out the woods yet. We have a Doppelganger on field and an Earthquake as backup to snipe the Blistrix anyway. Huge plays by Sixx, still going for naught, and now being able to take 2 points of direct damage. BeanSoldier used up a lot of spirits there, but that might have been the winning turn.
Potentially at 5, can't rise a Blistrix back, needs to find a way to probably bridge up into that Blistrix again through mills. But oh, that hurts, just the double answer. But now we know what Bean was probably grabbing from his side deck to just deal with this deck.
I think Sixx is feeling defeated. If you can tell the way that they're handling their cards, it doesn't feel as confident as Narpoon is cast out there to search out. I'm assuming a Lycan form to go into a Scorpio, but again, another expensive line you want to go to if you do that. That's going to be 1 from the Lycan and then 2 for the Scorpio along with casting. So I don't know if I'd even try that one. I guess Snowlit. I guess you grab Snowlit.
I'd say just grab Snowlit and gamble. Hope if you have an Ambrosia, or if you don't have an Ambrosia, draw one to have the spirits to go Snowlit straight up to Blistrix. That might just be Sixx's best bet here to try to crawl back into this. But even then, like we've seen from BeanSoldier, just consistent answers to that Blistrix, just not letting it stick on board and not finding those Cedar Swords as well, is making it real difficult to reestablish, to the point where I don't know if you can keep a Blistrix around long enough to make up that spirit difference.
Sixx is doing everything they can to try to find out the win con, and yeah, it is going to be a Snowlit. I think they consider like how many cards of what I've milled. We have seen 1 Espral at least go to the Underworld, and we know that 2 Blistrix are there. So you're just trying to get out an Espral and I guess a Mount Zaborius in hand to get over the Doppelganger.
Maybe. I do think that there is the Blistrix that was originally Underworld did get shuffled back by the Blistrix effect before it got hit by Gorgon's Gaze. So
right, correct.
There's still a few more. We'll see. I mean, Sixx might be able to just put on a ton of pressure here. Already a Doppelganger out, or not Sixx, sorry, BeanSoldier. The Doppelganger already out, throwing the Narpoon. If just get a 1-cost run over the Narpoon, but ooh, actually just runs Doppelganger over, giving Sixx actually an opening here.
I mean, we do have 2 face down, so I imagine because there was no expended draw, BeanSoldier feels very confident with what they have set up, ready to go. Snowlit Mills, Cedar Sword, Gorgon's Gaze,
Espral.
That is such a good mill. You can get both of those out.
I think you just go Espral at this point. Actually, I think the spirit count should be at 2, so it technically can only do 1 of those. And I think the play is Espral. Hope you have Ambrosia in hand to be able to use the Espral to bridge up into the Blistrix, because right now, against Doppelganger, it's only a 5 attacker.
So only 1 spirit left in this spirit deck, correct?
I think so. If it's 2,
yeah, I think that's just 1.
I think it's only 1. Or I would imagine Sixx would just fire the Espral skill if it was more than 1.
So yeah, I think you might have met your end.
Yeah,
there's a lot of struggling here. Sixx is trying to figure out, and they're doing their best to play all their cards to the best of their ability, but it's just the fact that the spirits are not there.
And this is what's crazy, is that this is the 2nd game in a row where Sixx has been 1 spirit off being able to use Espral to try to get up into that Blistrix, really showing how important it is to pressure that spirit deck, because these breakpoints can be very tight in the late game.
Man, Sixx just mulling over the options, just trying to think like there has to be some sort of play. The last one for the Mountains of Boreas! The Mountains of Boreas is the play!
We were talking about that.
We are down to 0 in spirit deck. Espral goes back up to 7. If the back row is not viewed by BeanSoldier, then they have found themselves a chance, a modicum of an ability to win here. The attack is declared. The face down is viewed, but is it flipped?
Shield.
Shield of Achilles will seal it. Sixx struggled this entire clash to try to find their win con, but in the end, it was all for naught. BeanSoldier is going to go up 2-1 to go to top 4 here in the Webcam Premier Tournament.